Good morning นะครับ everyone. This morning we are going to talk about the next topic in Power BI นะครับ that is like the tools that help us in order to calculate some specific value that we would like to have นะครับ Let me have recap for what we studied from the last class first นะครับ Okay. So everyone have please open up your Power BI report file that we did on the last class. Okay, on the last class, we talked about the tools in order to help us for creating new columns นะครับ in Power BI นะครับ Okay, let's have a look ครับ So when we talk about นะครับ the data in Power BI, we found that sometimes นะครับ when the data is like get นะครับ or imported from other sources นะครับ the data that we have got might not be completed. For example, if you remember the original data of our hang on, let me see. The original data of the table called orders detail, we have just these 5 columns only. Okay, order ID, product ID, unit price, quantity, and discount. The thing that we found was that if we have just unit price and quantity, it doesn't work when we have to just show or visualize these data. The reason is because when we have just the quantity, we would like to know the amount of money that we sold those products to the customer as well. If we just use the quantity as like the data to be displayed in the visualized in the visual, it doesn't just like be able to compare the amount of money that we receive from that sales order. So that's why we need to have the extra piece of data in order to show the total sales or the sales of each order as well. Somebody used the way in order to solve this problem by just going to Excel and then calculate in Excel and then re-upload or re-import this data into Power BI once again. Don't forget that if we just like re-import this data, the things that you did, especially for data cleansing, will be just like you have to redo everything once again. That is the first point that you have to know. Apart from that one, if you have the data in other forms that are not Microsoft Excel, for example, if you have the database, normally when you get the data from database, you cannot edit that table in the database itself because you are just like you have the right to get that data only, but you don't have the right to edit that data. For example, if we say that we have the database of the sales transactions, database of the sales transaction in database of the sales transaction in the server, that we just like compile all the sales from the convenience store in every branch in the country. In this case, you are not allowed to edit any values. Even you add any fields or columns in that database, you are not allowed to do so. The things that you can do is that you just like get those data from those database and use it only. The way that we have to do is that we have to find the tools in Power BI to help. So the tools that I suggested to be used in Power BI is called columns. The column tools in Power BI help us in order to create extra column for us. Okay, it works like this. When you just like use or when you create the extra column in Power BI, you can enter the formula. That is the calculation, that is the constant in this extra column. By the way, every single records will have like the same way in order to do that. For example, If we say that, okay, this column is a sales amount, it comes from unit price multiplied by quantity. This column will do the same thing for every single records. So that means for the order ID 10508, it multiplies 18 by 10 for you. Then you get 180. Order ID 10521, it multiplies 18. That is unit price by 3, that is quantity. Then you get 54 for the sales amount column, and so on. It does the same thing for every single records. And then display that value in this new created column. So when you have this one good thing is that, okay, you can just easily calculate anything as you want. So apart from the calculation from the fields that you have got in the existing columns in the table already, you can also assign some constant value as well. For example, you can see that on the last class, I asked you to create a tax rate column here. The tax rate column here is the assigning of the value 0.07 into this column. So that means every single records will have the same value 0.07. That is the assigning a constant value into that column for you. Okay, in order to create a column, the things that we do is that we just go to table tools, and then firstly you just go to that table first. Okay, click on the table on the right hand side in the data view. After that, you just like click on table tools and then choose new column, or you can click on home menu after you choose the table already, and then choose new column here. It's the same thing. After that, when you just like have the new column created already, it will show you for the formula bar. So okay, let's see, let me just like create a new column for you so that you see the newly fresh column. Okay, in here you can see that it just show you with column equals to in here. The column the word column can be replaced by any name. It will become the name of the column that you are creating. My suggestion is that I just like put the word column behind or maybe in front of the name that you created. So in this one, if you have a look from sales amount column to net sales column, all of them are ended with column. That means from now on, if we have a look, we know immediately that which column you create by yourself, which column is the standard data that you get or you import from like other sources. So in this example, you can see that the red one that I put the frame on, this is our original data, while the green columns from sales amount column to the right hand side, they are the columns that we created. Okay, next on in this box, or the formula bar here, the things that you enter here, we call it as DAX, DAX, or data analysis expression. Data analysis expression. You can put the formula that you would like to use, or you can use the function similar to Excel when you would like to calculate on something. We can just like have the function as well. So my suggestion is that if you would like to do something that is related to DAX or DAX, you can just like search from the internet as well, that okay, what function do I have to use in order to do this, in order to do that. Okay, so anytime when you have to use this formula bar to formulate something, we call it as DAX or DAX. So this one is not just only to be used with Power BI desktop. For other Power BI like Power BI server, you can also just like use DAX as well in order to see or in order to formulate some calculation นะครับ in that one okay so นะครับ the basic calculation in DAX is just like to multiply some values or to assign some values in this column นะครับ okay for example we had the first column นะครับ that we created that was sales amount column นะครับ in here we just like multiply unit price with a quantity the way that we do นะครับ whenever we have to calculate something นะครับ if you say that okay let me just like have a name as test column นะครับ for the test column here that I have got นะครับ okay you can see that for the data that I have got here นะครับ or the formula that I have got here if I have to refer or if I have to use any existing column นะครับ existing column here means the column in the red boxes here or the columns that you created by yourself you can type the name นะครับ some parts of the name of the column straight away for example suppose you would like to multiply นะครับunit price by quantity นะครับ the example is that I just type units นะครับ so you can see that it shows unit price นะครับ and quantity here any field that has the letters U, N, I, or T will be just like displayed in this list นะครับ you can just like choose that field straight away นะครับ by the way นะครับ you can see that when you calculate this already นะครับ if you say that you multiply by quantity you just type 1 I recommend you นะครับ not to type the field name by yourself นะครับ for the whole name for the full name just click to choose นะครับ because the syntax of the field that they normally use started from the table name นะครับ in the quote followed by square bracket and then the field name is inside if you just like type by yourself first one you waste the time second one you may type some name wrongly and it cause a problem นะครับ in the calculation in this one when you finish the calculation already you just like simply press enter นะครับ then Power BI will try to just like calculate นะครับ the DAX for you and then enter the data นะครับ in this newly created column นะครับ also at the same time if you would like to set up some format of the cells in these columns นะครับ you can just like go to column tools and then you may for example if I would like to have the decimal points I can just like choose number of decimal points that I would like to have it as well นะครับ okay so this is the example of like the field that we the columns that we created by ourselves นะครับ the next one that is the thing that you have to notice นะครับ in column นะครับ in the DAX is that some spatial symbol นะครับ spatial symbols in DAX such as percent นะครับ it does not accept the percent symbol in here for example if you create a column and you say that okay you would like to have 3% นะครับ you can see that it shows the curly red line below percent symbol in here that means this DAX has the error if you press enter it shows the error นะครับ because percent symbol is not accepted นะครับ it doesn't mean percent นะครับ the things that you can do in order to have percent for Power BI นะครับ when you create any columns you may multiply you may divide it by 100 นะครับ or you may just like use 0.03 instead นะครับ in order to use the value that means the percent like 3% something like that instead of using percent symbol in here but if you say that actually this one is 3% you may just like change the format into to be in terms of percent like that as well นะครับ in this one no problem but bear in mind นะครับ the formula cannot accept percent symbol นะครับ but you can set the format to display as a percent นะครับ without any problems นะครับ in here so when you get this one already นะครับ you know that we have like the DAX to calculate นะครับ the value นะครับ in the field that you have got นะครับ the field that you have got in the table already the next thing that you have to know is that it is possible that the field that you would like to use in your DAX formula comes from another table. What should we do? In this one, you can see that on the last class, I asked you to create one extra column called handling fee column in order table. You can see that in here same as usual, we create a new column and then write down in the DAX that handling fee column equals to 200. Okay, this one is the handling fee column in orders table. Now, if we go back to the order detail, I say that okay for the net sales column, it has to add the handling fee column as well in its calculation. But you can see that, okay, let's see. Let me try it with the test column like this. I say that, okay, if I would like to add the handling fee, okay, I put the parentheses first. If I would like to add the handling fee, I type handling. You can see that it doesn't show handling fee on in the list on the DAX. So what does it mean? Normally, when you type the field name in the DAX, it lists out the fields in that table only. That means for order ID, product ID, unit price until net sales column or test 2 column can be used or can be called in the list of the DAX. Suppose I type test 2 here. You can see that we have even test 2 column in here. But for handling, we doesn't have it. So it means that Power BI just like protect the DAX not to just like list out everything in this report file. So if you intend to just like make your DAX to get the data from other table, you have to use the DAX function. The DAX function that we can use is what we call related. So when you just like remember some parts of the function, you just type the part of that function into this your DAX formula, and then it lists out all possible functions that we have got. In this one, we use related functions in here. Sorry. So once you type, once you click on related, okay. In here, you can see that it shows that it is fx, that means it is the function. When you click on related, so it shows the syntax that is related followed by column name. It returns a related value from another table. So in this one, it lists out all the fields in every table for you in here. So in this one, you can see that it lists out table product, categories, customer, employee, orders, suppliers, but it doesn't list out the field in order detail because right now we are in order detail table. Power BI knows that if you want to use the field in this table, you don't need to type related. You just type the field name straight away. So in this one, if you would like to get the field that is handling fee from orders table, you can just like click on handling fee column in the order table straight away and then close parentheses. So right now, this one, you can see that we have like the handling fee column appear in this table already. Okay, let me show you. Suppose that I have just like would like to refer that value only in the test column. Does it show 200 or not? Because the original handling fee column is 200 bucks. you can see that right now นะครับ if you have a look นะครับ in the test column it is 200 baht that is นะครับ that is the handling fee นะครับ in the handling fee column in order table suppose and also นะครับ the related function is dynamic what does it mean suppose I say that in my orders table I update my handling fee นะครับ to be 300 baht okay now let me update first okay now the handling fee in orders table นะครับ is 300 baht already if I just go to orders detail table นะครับ the handling fee นะครับ that I put in the test column is updated to be 300 baht as well นะครับ so that's why this one is called as dynamic one นะครับ okay let me just change back okay, right when we have this already นะครับ when we have this already the next thing that you have to know is that after we calculate the things in Power BI by using the columns already นะครับ by using the columns already it is useful because whenever you would like to create the visualization นะครับ you can have right now you can have the total sales already so that means you can just like do anything as you want นะครับ in the visual นะครับ as you would like to have for example in here I show you that we can find the net sales by shipping country นะครับ also you can find net sales นะครับ in each product or whatever you want นะครับ the next thing that you have to know is that right now when we have the data like this already นะครับ okay let me show you in the orders detail table let me delete นะครับ my sample column first okay so now you can see that we have sales amount we have discount amount and so on but what about the total I mean the total for the whole table for example if I want to know total sales amount how much is it somebody said that can we sum the sales amount column นะครับ and we create another column and call sum sales amount or total sales amount what will happen นะครับ let me show you first if I create a new column called total sales amount you know that okay in Excel นะครับ the DAX นะครับ most of the DAX functions in Power BI similar to Excel functions that we studied before นะครับ for example you say that okay we have in order to add sales amount together we have to use the function sum okay then we try sum whether it has some function in Power BI or not in the DAX or not you type sum นะครับ oh it has some function okay I use sum followed by column name will add all the numbers in a column I know that okay I want to sum the sales amount because I want to know the total sales amount and then I close the parenthesis now let's see what happened when I press enter you can see that there is a total sales amount column created นะครับ this column has the value 1354458 นะครับ okay 1,000,000 point yeah it's around like $1,343,458.59 let's say in this case you may get the total for the whole sales amount column but what do you see in here you can see that every single record has the same value this one นะครับ we call this one as the duplication of data or what we call redundancy that you shouldn't create it. If you have like so many records with the same data like this, don't do this one. This is not good. If you would like to have just like the total sales amount, you should have just like one value only, not the column to create the things like this, because it will dump your memory, it will dump your hard drive space when you have when you do like this many times. The things that we do is that we should have another tool an extra tool in order to find just one value that you would like to have. So in this case, I will just like suggest you to use another tool that we call it as measure. Measure is a value that is created to find something. For example, you want to find the total sales. You want to find the average sales. You want to find the maximum sales, minimum sales. You don't want to create the whole column, but you just like want one piece of data only for the whole table that you have got. Then you have to create a measure instead. And bear in mind, measure is not column. You can see the formula, but you don't see the value existing in the table. The reason is because if you remember when you create a column does the same thing to every single record, but measure is different. Measure will do according to what you set up only, and it shows just one value for the whole table. So that's why in order to display the value of measure, we have to use the visual to show it. I'll talk about it later on. Okay, now let me just like leave the total sales amount column like this first. I'll delete it later on. Let me just like show you where to use or where to find the measure first. In here, we go to table tools. You can see that we have new measure, or we go to home. You see new measure as well in here. So firstly, we do the same thing. You have to pick the tables that you would like to create the measure first. By the way, measure is different from column. It can be anywhere in the table. For example, if you say that, okay, you would like to find the total sales amount, you can see that total sales amount come from finding the sum of the sales amount column in order detail table. But you can keep total sales amount measure in order table as well. There's no problem. But the reason why I just like choose order detail table, because I want to see what field that I would like to calculate. Okay, now let's see. Suppose I would like to create a measure here. I just like go to order detail table, and then I click new measure in the table tools. When you create a measure, you can see that it pops up the formula for you in the formula bar as well. This one is ready for you to enter the DAX. So in this one, I would like to find out the total sales amount, right? Okay. So I name it as total sales amount measure. Okay. I said that, okay, in order to find the total sales amount, I have to sum sales amount together. So I use the function sum. Let's try. We type sum. It is a function here. You open up the parentheses. It said that for the sum function, it requires the argument that is column name. Then you have to specify what column that you would like to sum. In this one, you would like to sum the sales amount. So I type the part of the column sales amount. Okay, it's here. Order detail sales amount column. Okay, I just choose this one and then I close parenthesis นะครับ right now I get the sum of the sales amount column already ครับ now I will just like press enter ครับ to let Power BI to calculate for me. You can see that if you scroll left and right นะครับ from the orders detail table, you don't see anything called total sales amount measure here at all นะครับ as I told you measure is not a column, it does not display the value นะครับ in the table นะครับ so how do you know that we have a measure called total sales amount measure นะครับ this one ครับ I want you to see in the order detail you have total sales amount measure นะครับ in here. So if you want to know that how much is the total sales amount นะครับ as I mentioned earlier นะครับ when it is not displaying in your table you have to use a visualization tools in order to display this value ครับ so I go to report view นะครับ the tools that we normally use to display นะครับ to display the measure is the card นะครับ or multi-row card นะครับ depends on how many measures you would like to display นะครับ or you may use one card to display one measure up to you นะครับ in this one I just like pick card นะครับ sorry I just pick card as a tools. Sorry, this one I just pick card as a tool นะครับ okay after that I go to the measure that I just recently created and choose it. So you can see that in here นะครับ in here it shows นะครับ it shows 1.35 million that is the total sales amount. If you have a look นะครับ for what we created by using a column that I told you not to do it นะครับ we get 1.35 million นะครับ as well. So that means นะครับ this is what measure นะครับ calculate for us we get 1.35 millions นะครับ we get 1.35 millions. All right, okay, so when we have this already นะครับ when we have this already I will just like delete นะครับ unwanted column that I don't want นะครับ I will delete it out. Okay, yeah, because it's not related to our calculation at all. I just like want to show you that it's the same value only. It's 1.35 million. So as I told you นะครับ we can just like put our measure in any tables as you like นะครับ suppose you say that you would like to find the total tax amount, but right now you want to put it in the orders table. You can also do it as well ครับ so in this one นะครับ let me show you if I create the total tax amount นะครับ in the order table นะครับ even though tax amount column is located in the orders detail นะครับ but I put the measure to calculate this column in another table. See what happened นะครับ now I just click on orders table and then I choose new measure ครับ and I name it as total tax amount measure นะครับ and then this one I want to sum as well. Now I want to sum total tax amount นะครับ then sorry I want to sum the tax amount together then I just type a part of the column name. You can see that in here นะครับ if you use measure one thing that is different from column is that if you use if you use the function like sum like this it lists out all possible fields นะครับ in the whole file for you นะครับ in the whole data set for you. In this one you can see that when I type tax, if you remember tax rate and tax amount are in orders detail table นะครับ it's not in the order table, but in this one it just show the tax rate and tax amount column นะครับ in the measure that I created in order table as well. Then I choose tax amount column and then I close the parenthesis. Okay, So in this one, once again, I would like to check whether I have anything named total tax amount measure in my table or not. You can see that I don't have it as a part of the data here, because measure is just like one piece of data only. It's not the whole column. So that's why it cannot be displayed in this table detail for you. But anyway, you can see that in here. In the order table, we have a measure called total tax amount measure. When you go to visualize it, do the same thing. We just use the card or multi-row card to show. In here, I choose card. And then I just choose orders. In the order table, I choose total tax amount. Now, this is the total tax amount that we have got in the orders table. Somebody does like this. They say that they want to use table to display total tax amount. This is not what I want. I don't want this one. You can see that, okay, for table, it used to show like various pieces of data. And I told you that it is not, I don't want you to use it in this class, because we have like other visualized tools that is better than just using the table or metrics to display. You can see that when we compare, the card shows like nicer display for the total tax amount. But one thing you can see is that the difference just a little bit is that for the card it just shows just like the summarized value like 94.81K, while the table just like show the full detail, that is 94,810 cent, something like this. But if you say that, Ajahn, is it possible for me to just like show this for both? Okay, if you show both, it's okay, like this. But if you just show for the table only, it's not okay. It's too small for this one in here. So that's why try to use like other visual in order to show the value that is better than just using table when you want to show it. Okay, this is the measure that we have to use in order to calculate things. Apart from the sum function, what else do we need to know? So the basic functions for DAX in order to create the measures, apart from sum, we also have the functions like min, max, average as well. The way to use are absolutely the same. So we just like create a measure. Okay, let me just show you let me just like choose order detail. It's better. I go to order detail. I want to see the max max value of the discount amount as a measure first. I want to see the max discount amount. Then in order to do that, I do the same thing. I just go to table tools, create new measure, and then I find max discount amounts. So the function that I use is max. Then I open parenthesis. Max we'll just like try to find out the max value of any fields that you want to find. You can just like have more than one field if you like. But this one, I just want to find the max of the discount amount only. Then I may choose discount amount here, close parenthesis, and then press enter. Now I get the measure called max discount amount measure already in here. So you can just like display it by using measure as you by using the visual like the card as usual in here. So I use max discount amount measure ครับ this is 2.11k or if I would like to also display the same value in the details okay it's 2,108 นะครับ in here you can see that when we have the measures like thisนะครับ, it is quite useful when you would like to find some of the summary values of something apart from the maxนะครับ, you also have minนะครับ, you can also have average as wellนะครับ, okay right so for the min function it is the same thing ครับ you use min and followed by the column name for the averageนะครับ, if you want to find the average you have average function hereนะครับ, and then you do the same thing followed by the field that you want to find the average นะครับ in here so these are just the measure that you need to know in order to create a summary value for your data in your Power BI ครับ so before I just like let you do the measure นะครับ calculation example นะครับ do you have any question to ask me about the measure in here okay so if you don't have any questions now นะครับ let me share the screen นะครับ I would like you to create these measures ครับ so everyone could you please create 4 different measures นะครับ for me นะครับ actually for yourself นะครับ in your Power BI report file ครับ there are 4 measures only then I give you 10 minutes to do so นะครับ total discount amount นะครับ total tax amount average gross sales and maximum net sales ครับ and display all the measure in the report นะครับ using the card or whatever visual tools in order to do it นะครับ so 10 minutes ครับ everyone could you please do it so in this one นะครับ when I have to do I have to see first นะครับ that okay where should I place my measure นะครับ where should I place my measure you can see that okay for the first one นะครับ first measure I have to create it to use the discount amount okay discount amount is located in orders detail then I think measure should be here total tax amount same thing it is in orders detail table then I just place it here too same as average gross sale and maximum net sales นะครับ so this table นะครับ orders detail should be the best place to put all of these measures in นะครับ okay so when I would like to create that measure I click on the table where I would like to place my measure on first that is order detail then the first one นะครับ I click create new measure in the formula นะครับ I name this measure as total discount amount measure นะครับ so this one I would like to sum the discount amount so I put sum นะครับ then I put discounts okay discount amount column is here okay right then I close parenthesis ครับ then I get the first total discount amount column นะครับ as a measure already it's here okay then I just go to visualize it นะครับ in the report so this one I want to display it in terms of card นะครับ and then I choose total discount amount นะครับ measure it's in order detail total discount amount is here. Okay, it's 88.67K นะครับ You get the same thing as my one. If you want to see the details data, you may add it another one that is table and that is okay to show the details value in here. Next นะครับ Okay, I go to create the next measure that is total tax amount. I can just like create the measure in the report view straight away นะครับ I click on orders detail first because I want to place it here, and then in the table tools I choose new measure. Then I create a measure here. I name it as total tax amount. And measure in the parentheses. It is sum. Total tax is sum of the tax amounts in here. I close the parentheses. Then I get the measure already for the total tax amount column here. In here. So now I will create. The visual to display. I do the same thing. I show with the card. And I also show it for the details data. This one. Then I choose total tax amount here. Next นะครับ the next one I want to show I want to create the average gross sales measure นะครับ This one I use order detail table as well นะครับ I create a new measure. I name this measure as average gross sales in the parentheses measure นะครับ The formula that I have to use นะครับ when it is the average values นะครับ It is average function นะครับ followed by gross sales นะครับ It's here and then I close parenthesis. Press enter นะครับ So right now I have the average gross sales measure already นะครับ Okay, and then I display it by using the card. And also I show the details data as well in here. So it's the same value, then I don't display as the detail because it shows 587.387 already. The last one, the last one, maximum net sales. I use max function and then I just type net sales. Here it's the net sales column. Then I use it, then close the parentheses. Now I get the net sales column already. I create the card to visualize the net sales, the maximum net sales. Okay. And I may display by using this value as well. Sorry. Okay. Right. Okay, นะครับ so these are the way in order to create the measures that we want to have นะครับ the things that I want you to do to see นะครับ just have a look นะครับ on the right hand side in the list of the field you can see that there are lots of the fields นะครับ or the information that you can choose นะครับ from this list of data in the table here. You can see that some of them นะครับ you can see that some of them are just like the original data. Some of them are measure, some of them are columns. The reason why I ask you, and I always do it by myself,นะครับ, is that if it is the column, I just ended that name with the word column, or I put the parenthesis column. When it is the measure, I always end it with the word measure, or I start that name with the word measure,นะครับ. So in this one, I ended them with the measure, and then I put parenthesis. You can see that this one, it will be easy for you to know that which one is a column, which one is the measure, so that when you pick this data to be displayed or to be visualized, you can pick it easily. Because sometimes if you have so many items of data like this one, you might start getting confused already that, okay, so which one that I have to use. So to be easy, you just, if you have the word measure or column to distinguish, it will be easy for you. And by the way, all of these data has been sorted alphabetically as well. You can see that even though our maximum net sales is created last, but it's just in the middle. The average, we just created as a third one, but it just show in the first place, because they are sorted alphabetically. Another tools that help you to know that whether it's a measure or a column is that if it is a measure, it looks like the calculator symbol in front of the name of that value. If it is the column, it is the table symbol with the sigma symbol on top of the table, that is the column. But sometimes when you just have a glance, you may just like forget already that what is the symbol for measure, what is the symbol for a column. Then if you write it down, outstandingly that it's measure or it's a column, it is easier for you. So this one is the way that I usually do. This is a tips. Okay, so when we have this already, now it's your turn. I would like you to do it, to do the assignments with your team. Okay, now let's have a look. What do we have? For the assignment, let me just like show you in the e-learning. So in the e-learning, if you scroll down to the part of the Power BI, you can see that there is team assignment number 2. Team assignment number 2 here. That is actually it's easy. You just like, some of you may spend to get the time together 20 minutes, then you may be able to finish it already. You just see this assignment. So you can download the question here. Okay. So what do I want you to do? In this one, I want you to download ABC Sales for Power BI. That actually you may download it here, or it's the same file that we are still using. Okay, you download that file. So when you download the data file already, what is the next thing that I would like you to do? The things that I want you to do is here. I want you to firstly, you clean the data, if necessary first. Actually, if you just want to use the same data that we clean already, that's okay, no problem. But make sure that when you submit, it is just like the new report file that doesn't consist of the data that we have got like in this one that we did before. Otherwise, it will mess up your work in here. So my suggestion is that you may copy your Power BI report file here, and then delete all of the things that you don't want first, or you may just like redo from the very beginning, but because it doesn't take long time to do. The next thing that I would like you to do is that I want you to visualize the data below. First thing, I want you to consider these 3 columns นะครับ we go to the order table นะครับ this one belong let me clear yeah okay in the order table you see order date required dates นะครับ ship date okay here in order table you see order date required date and ship dates นะครับ these 3 columns here นะครับ what would I like you to do the things I want you to do is that I want you to find the average waiting days นะครับ maximum waiting days on the report screen so this one it needs your interpretation ครับ in the exam it will be the same นะครับ it needs for the problems that you get นะครับ you need your interpretation it needs your interpretation what does it mean by average waiting days what does it mean by what does it mean by average waiting day by waiting days and then you find the average นะครับ of that value and what are maximum waiting days นะครับ okay so you just discuss among your team members and then find for it and then you just display it on the report screen then you discuss with your team นะครับ which visualization tools that you should use to show that average waiting days and maximum waiting days after that 2.2 show the average duration of required days maximum required days when compared to the order date on the report screen นะครับ number 3 visualize different numbers of orders from each country นะครับ number 4 compare the total revenue that you obtain from Manjimap dry apples Philo mix and Perth pastries นะครับ these 3 products นะครับ compare the revenue you obtain from these 3 products so นะครับ then you have to interpret again what does it mean by the total revenue นะครับ and number 5 which supplier that ABC company order the most นะครับ you have to visualize in 2 different aspects นะครับ quantity and price นะครับ quantity and price then it needs your interpretation again for quantity it is not difficult you just compare which one is the maximum quantity that customer order sorry that we นะครับ we are ABC company we order and in terms of price นะครับ in terms of price you have to think that okay if you want to find the price that you order the most in what field นะครับ that you have to use to compare the price and then you just visualize them you just visualize them so in this one นะครับ in this one after you finish this part นะครับ I want you to complete the Power BI report with your team and then write the name of and student ID of participants in the report file so that means นะครับ in this one when you just like have to write down the name of the participants นะครับ it is easy you just simply go to home menu and then choose นะครับ text box and then you just write down the name นะครับ like this one นะครับ and then ID นะครับ in this one นะครับ in your report file and then submit it นะครับ so when you submit นะครับ I would like you นะครับ to submit one team one submission only นะครับ is enough submit by tomorrow before midnight นะครับ after that the assignment is locked and you can no longer submit it นะครับ I accept only the submission นะครับ on time นะครับ before midnight tomorrow night นะครับ one team one submission only นะครับ so in this one because I know that after the class you like all of you will be busy นะครับ then from now I will just like open up the breakout room for you guys so that you can just like talk with your team นะครับ okay all right okay then นะครับ so up to this point do you have any questions ครับ so if you don't have any question นะครับ okay let me just like send you the team the team list once again นะครับ just one belong okay the team number will be sent to you in the line group นะครับ because I mean like the reason why I have to send this list to you is because when I open up the breakout room you will know which room that you have to go we have altogether นะครับ we have altogether 8 rooms นะครับ because we have like a team of 5 นะครับ for 8 teams altogether 40 people นะครับ okay right so นะครับ when I send you to the breakout room you may discuss with your team นะครับ you can also work with your team นะครับ in the breakout room นะครับ okay so if you just like finish discussion or if you allocate the work and you want to do it by yourself นะครับ outside the class you can just like leave the room straight away นะครับ okay so before we send you to the breakout room นะครับ okay now I have a question in the chat box นะครับ for the Power BI group assignments number 1 นะครับ that is the presentation okay there are some members with no visual that is my mistake นะครับ if your team let's say if your team has 5 people but you have just like 3 or 4 visuals only please add extra visual 1 นะครับ and 2 for your team if you have I mean like because each member at least you have to do 1 visual นะครับ at least you have to do 1 visual that means if you have like more people than number of visuals please add the extra visuals นะครับ in your work as well นะครับ and don't forget นะครับ in that case please go to have a look on the list of the visuals นะครับ that people book in the Google Sheets นะครับ already นะครับ just go to have a look and then find another extra visual that is not repeating with others นะครับ okay data we have to find our own yes for assignment number 1 yeah because I mean like for let's say if you have 5 visuals to do and then different visuals may need different kind of data then you may have to find out your own data นะครับ maybe different 5 Excel file that doesn't matter ครับ I don't want you to just like think or make up like thousands of records นะครับ it might be too much you just like see of your make up of your own or you may just like search from the internet that okay there might be some sample data that you can download and do it for group assignment number 1 นะครับ okay right any other questions ครับ anyone some people in the team drop already นะครับ you should do it for her yes that's right ครับ so that means if it's assigned already นะครับ and I mean like normally the things that I really want every team to do is like the visual number 1 to 35 นะครับ so that means for extra visual I mean like let's say if you have 5 people in the team originally if we have let's say 4 assigned numbers of visuals and 1 extra visual if 1 person drop นะครับ extra visual you don't need to do then you just like do the rest 4 of them นะครับ some teams in the past did like this ครับ when one of your member is dropped นะครับ that member นะครับ may also help your team นะครับ in order to do that visual as well because anyway this course is the required course finally that person will have to come back to study in the next term anyway นะครับ then he or she has to study for Power BI and do the same thing once again ครับ okay how do we check if a member is dropped you have to ask them ครับ because sometimes they haven't submit the drop form yet นะครับ the withdrawal form yet you have to check with them whether they want to drop or not if I mean like normally if you talk to him or to her he or she might tell you that okay he or she decided to withdraw นะครับ but if he or she นะครับ is not reached นะครับ can't be reached you just like contact him or her in our line group ครับ because I think that right now in our line group we should have every student in there นะครับ okay okay นะครับ everyone for by the way นะครับ if you say that okay for this work นะครับ for this assignment นะครับ assignment number 2 if your team members นะครับ doesn't turn up นะครับ please contact them first นะครับ if you don't have his or her line number line ID you may just like use our line group to contact นะครับ because it is possible let me see today we have 36 people นะครับ in the Zoom meeting that means there are 4 people นะครับ who are absent I don't know whether they are dropped or they just like be absent from the class only you may just like contact them through our line groupนะครับ and ask them to do this work with you if he or she doesn't reply or doesn't do it you don't need to write his or her nameนะครับ in the Power BI file okay because when I give the score I will just like give the score to the name of the people in the Power BI file like this one that I showed you only that I write down the name of a personนะครับ of participants in the text box like this oneนะครับ okay right okay then นะครับ if you don't have any question now นะครับ before I send you to the breakout room could you please turn on your camera ครับ